we also work for our school heads that we are very supportive to us in doing this debate amongst the community. And thank you also for the good help of my students. Thank you for the cooperation of everyone. I hope that your whole spirit will always guide us through the end of this debate. This all that we have a debate on the health effects of food preservatives. So, I hope that every one of you has already made some research about the good and bad effects of food preservatives in our body. So, are you ready now the positive and the negative side?
Yes.
Okay, so shall we start the debate?
Yes.
Okay, so let's call on Miss Kailin.
Good morning, everyone. I am Kailin Maka, the facilitator for this debate 2016. This morning, we are going to have a debate written on the health effects of preservative. Food is so important for the survival. So food preservation is one of the oldest technologies used by human beings to avoid its spoilage. Preservative. Preservative is a substance or a chemical that is added to products such as food, beverages, pharmaceutical drugs, paste, biological samples, cosmetics, wood, and many other products to prevent decomposition by microbial growth or undesirable chemical changes. So we have two groups for the debates, the affirmative side and the negative side. The affirmative side, we have Trexie.
Food preservatives is very important in our lives, in a sense that this is the only way that people see on how to prevent food spoilage. This can minimize the growth of microorganisms, and artificial food preservatives can make the food last longer than its usual lifespan, and it can enhance our appetite, the texture, and the taste of a certain food. That is why we can eat more.
Artificial preservatives may act as an antioxidant, make food more acidic, reduce the moisture level of food, slow down the ripening process, and prevent the growth of microorganisms, all of which help the food last longer. This means you can make fewer trips to the store and have less food waste because the preservatives help minimize the amount of food you buy that goes bad before.
Food preservatives can also limit the foodborne illness. Approximately 1 of every 6 Americans get foodborne illnesses. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, without artificial preservatives, it cannot limit the spread of organisms that can cause this illnesses. This number might even higher. Some of these illnesses, such as brucellosis, can be
Food preservatives are good, unless if you're willing to shove anything in your mouth, even if it's a moldy. Some bacteria lives in a piece of food. Then, there are many health benefits to talk about food preservation category. But, as we keep our food fresher for longer, staving off ripening and keeping molds and materials away, the natural food preservatives is a godsend.
Artificial food preservatives can keep the food from spoiling on shelves, and they keep bacteria from growing in food after it is exposed to air, light, fungus, or yeast. Some preservatives can keep the food from clumping or securing food, and they can help the texture. Another chemical preservative that serves a good purpose with the food you eat. It is a stabilizer used in packaging melts, dry melts, and baked goods. So we have heard the opinion of the positive side. So now, let us also witness the standpoint of the negative.
Sodium nitrate is used in preservation or curing fermented foods like hot dogs, sausages, and other cured foods you'll find in the shows. The purpose of nitrate is to stave off brucellosis-causing bacteria, but according to the U.S. National Toxicology Program, or NTP, diseases like pancreatic and lung cancer has been attributed to meat consumption containing sodium. In the United Kingdom and Canada, they banned food preservatives that is used to strengthen bread dough, but it is still can be found in the United States. Potassium bromate is a carcinogen causing tumors and
Sodium benzoate or benzoic acid is a common preservative used in soft drinks, juices, and pickles. It is used to prevent the growth of bacteria in the food that are highly acidic.
Through the use of preservatives, we can start a business which can increase the income of the family. We can also create a happy home, and we can eat different kinds of food together with our friends, neighbors, and family.
building is also known as food is the potential to cause breathing difficulties. According to MayoClinic.com, eliminating foods with preservatives can reduce symptoms and severity of asthma. MayoClinic.com identified aspartame, sulfites, and severity of asthma. It caused that preservatives can reduce breathing problems and asthma.
One of the most serious harmful effects of preservatives in food is their ability to transform into carcinogens when digested. According to Enkem, nitrosamines which include nitrites and nitrates interact with stomach and gastric acid to form cancer-causing agents. To avoid this natural-chemical reaction between your body and the preservatives, you will need to monitor your diet and to eliminate nitrates and nitrates from your meals, snacks, and
Medical use links sulfites with shortness of breath and other breathing problems. It also leads to behavioral changes. Another harmful effect of preservatives in food is behavioral changes, especially in young children. According to the Archives of Disease in Children, in a 2003 double-blind study of 1,873 children, the consumption of food additives and preservatives lead to significant increase in hyperactive
Shows that food preservatives will lead to heart damage. Studies of heart tissue led by Enkem reveal that food preservatives can weaken heart tissue. Based on a laboratory research, rats who consume the highest level of food preservatives shows the highest level of heart damage.
So now, let's begin the rebuttal of the affirmative side and the
You stated earlier the different side effects of artificial food preservatives, just like the breathing difficulties, behavioral changes, and heart damage. So, why are you setting your example in US?
which is second place in the US. Because they're not made in home-cooked food. This is preferred to buy foods and those foods containing preservatives, and that preservatives can cause illnesses like asthma and cancer.
As you said earlier that everyone can eat food preservatives cause it's easy. But for you, is it okay to you that they can experience any illnesses?
Through the advancement of new technologies, nowadays different illnesses will be answered. As the first option, would you like to eliminate or avoid drinking those as a component in your snack?
Yes, we can avoid foods without preservatives to gain a healthy lifestyle by replacing soft drinks, juices by water or any natural foods like fruits and vegetables.
As you said earlier, that unless you're willing to shove anything into your mouth, even if it's some moldy, do you mean that food preservatives really can cause illnesses?
No, it's your decision to eat. And the natural food preservatives is not even endangering your health, because natural food preservatives are like sugar, vinegar, and salt. So salt doesn't contain any chemicals, so natural food preservatives is also good in our health.
Know that food preservatives can cause a cancer to the people.
Nitrates which include nitrites and nitrates interact with stomach and gastric acids to form cancer-causing agents. And the one that we're inventing is like hot dogs, sausages, and it contains nitrates and nitrates. And it might be giving cancer also.
Okay, you just said earlier that we can get cancer through nitrates. But even all natural products that contain, even all natural products that contain no nitrites might still have high natural nitrites. Their replacement is celery powder that sometimes contains 10 times the amount of nitrites as a regular meats have.
You said earlier that preserved food is bad to our health. But did you know it is important in times of disaster because it can sustain our needs? How about you? You still have time to bring natural foods?
We will apply FIF or our first in first out method, in which we're going to use the classification of foods, which is perishable, non-perishable, and semi-perishable.
As you said earlier that you should apply the FIFO methods using perishable, non-perishable, and semi-perishable. So now, can you give some different examples of the three classification of foods?
Perishable, there are fish and meat. We will going to consume first the fish and meat. Second is semi-perishable. There are eggs and fruits and vegetables. And the last is non-perishable. There are rice and root crops, which is not easily get damaged.
As what we said earlier, that artificial preservatives make your food more acidic. Did you know that through that it
Our FDA thoroughly tests all food preservatives and additives for safety before allowing them to food supply.
What if these natural foods are being destroyed in one disaster? In what way you get benefited in that?
But we know that the government has a role in fighting disaster. They can bring in relief groups, and they can get those foods without preservatives from those places that not stock natural food. The places hasn't been damaged because of the disaster. As Jeremy said earlier, that because of preservative, pharmacies and technologies are invented. And are you going to rely your health in the pharmacies or technologies? What if you don't have money? What can you do?
No, we don't have to cure any illnesses or we don't have to buy medicines in the store. Or even though pharmacists has been invented such medicine, has been releasing safety foods with additives or preservatives.
So what if you were stuck in island for 1 month? Should be that natural food available?
Land, small land.
Count a days for the relief goods, the relief goods come to the victims.
The government will give us relief goods. So what the government will use as a relief goods are those foods with preservative added.
Not all the government give food preservatives. There are rice. You can eat it.
What the government has been using is those foods with preservatives because we all know that food will still pass through shipping, and with preservatives, foods will never get damaged during the shipping process.
Actually, that's why rice is a non-perishable. It can take longer. Not that all rice have a food preservative.
That you're going to eat only rice.
Actually, if there's no other foods, you can eat it. If you want to live, then eat it.
Because you're only focusing on rice.
Actually, there are some foods like you can buy foods somewhere that the trees that there are some foods that come in times of disaster.
So what we are talking about here is during calamities, right? So can you still buy foods during calamities, just like earthquakes?
We all know that government is going to give us relief food, but also government can give us relief food without preservative, like what you said, rice. And instead of just eating rice, we can eat
those root crops food like kamote and cassavas.
So you mean you're not going to use the really goods that the government will give, just like noodles?
Actually, you can use it. You can change to other people. If you say that some people have a natural foods like kamote, you can exchange it.
What if they don't want it to?
As you said earlier, that food preservatives can change the behavior of a child, like hyperactive. So it is okay. Because of the food preservative, the child can be active in school and he or she can participate always in classroom.
It can be, but that effect causes only a small amount of preservatives. We all know that kids like food having preservatives, especially junk food, so they take the foods usually many times a day. That of course, having a big amount of preservatives that causes abnormality.
That those abnormal kids that abnormality is caused only because of the artificial food preservative that they have eaten every day.
Kids that has illness that abnormality causes by preservatives. Because as we have all known that
As you said earlier, Philip, that food preservatives are God sent to the many. But have you even realized that the creation of God, the human race, are having a life shortage because of the food preservative? You're just giving the humankind another way to die. Is it okay to your conscience to see people dying because of your product?
Prove that only food preservative is the only reason why people die or get dead.
For your information, preservatives is not just the only reason. There are many reasons, but one of those reasons are preservative. Because of the products that having food preservatives.
The point, it is not the reason why people is getting illnesses that makes them die. So the point is that the food preservatives is not the way on why people are getting illnesses.
Just like a food preservatives can cause any illnesses. So if you eat like some other places, like in the United States, they eat food preservatives because they can buy in the store. So some of them got illnesses.
We believe that is no illnesses to be prevented and no diseases to be cured because this cannot harm but instead give us health.
The research in MChem and based on my national toxicology that food preservatives can cause illnesses.
Would you allow yourself to continue eating those preserved food knowing that it can harm to yourself?
Because artificial food preservatives didn't damage the natural flow of our body or of our lifestyle. Instead, it gives us a more enhanced food, more enhanced taste, and most especially it gives us the best experience that we can eat foods with such delicious taste and can also give us enjoyment.
What about your health? Do you care about it?
If there is some point in our lives that you are saying will come, the advancement of technology is working on with that. So that is why there is no we're not going to there is no such there is no what do you call this? There is no there is no illnesses that will leave unsolved.
It is very expensive. Would you rather to waste your money just to cure your illness?
Give their people a free treatment.
But do you prefer depend do you depend on the government to cure your illnesses?
That artificial food preservatives can give us any else.
That artificial food preservatives can give us any illnesses?
No, as I have stated earlier, we can't get any illnesses from artificial food preservatives because the FDA or the Food Drug Administration has been releasing foods with secured or assured that there is no any harmful effects that it can give to us.
That artificial food preservatives can't give us any illnesses?
It can't give us any illnesses. It depends on how the human as an individual, on how they take the food. If they are abusing it, so we don't know because we don't know if they are abusing it because we don't know if they abuse it, so we don't know what they can get, but we are just assuring that in just a appropriate taking of it, it can't give us any illnesses.
They give us any illnesses because, as you said, that if they abuse that food or take it too much, it can really cause
Harm to you because if you abuse any natural food, you can get obese or something like any illnesses that you can get because you are abusing it and you're eating too much, then you get any illnesses from it. Even though it's healthy, you can get obese with it.
Natural food, and if you will going to abuse it, no, it is it is good in our home.
So don't tell me if you eat too much in a day and you are going through the limit of the calories because in natural food we can also get calories, so we can get fat as much as possible.
But when we eat natural food, we not just it depends on the people that who's going to eat it. But we all know that some people are having their daily routine that has exercise, so we're not going to get obese.
And it's up to you if you want to get obese.
Okay, so you're saying really that natural food can also give us a harmful effects?
Actually, natural foods can't really give us any illnesses because just like a food preservatives, if you eat food preservatives, it can make our life less longer. No, it can lessen our lives.
Huh?
It can, food preservatives. Well, the natural foods it can give us illnesses, but not that too much that we can experience like pain that we cannot take it or like that.
Okay, so what I have seen in these countries, there's so many obese people that didn't get this illnesses because of the artificial food preservatives, but because of eating too much or eating too much food, natural foods, and they get died because of their obesity and the fats are getting into their hearts, so they can't breathe. They can't also breathe naturally, or they have a breathing difficulties also.
Are you sure? Who is the people?
No, we don't have to be specific here with those people. We're just going to be specific with the illnesses that they get.
But are you sure that only natural food is the cause of their death?
Exactly the point. If you just said earlier that this can harm in our lives, what about the natural food? See, they can also give us a harmful effects. So you've been accusing artificial food preservatives as the reason why people die. So we have already known that this is not just the only reason. It's also of the too much intake of natural foods.
You mean also? You say also. So, do you really mean that preservatives really bring illnesses to our health?
What we have been talking about here is the abusement of taking too much foods. Just like natural food, if you've been taking too much food, you can get also illnesses. How much more with this food? No, you will get any illnesses from the natural food that you've been depending on.
Okay. So I believe you have to stop the discussion right now. It is a very richly discussion, and it was very good.